What's up, everybody? This is Vonda Evans, and tonight I want to talk to you about a new series that I want to do, and it's going to be entitled Crime Stories. And I'm going to give my spin on what I think these crime stories will be. Crime story. Just wanted to make sure I'm on. So let's talk about my very first one, the Gilgo beach murders. So let me tell you about this man. His name was Rex Heuermann. He was a very prominent man, an architect, sought after across the country, very, very prominent. But he lived in Long Island. And when he lived there, what he would do is there's a beach that was there, and he would meet women, and he would use a burner phone, and he would have an avalanche truck, and he would meet them, and then he would ultimately kill them and dismember them. This went on for years. No clue. Nobody knew who this person was until science solved the case. Well, what do you mean? Well, let me tell you what happened. So during the time in the early 2000s when he was killing these young girls back to 96, technology was not what it was. So they had these cold crimes and they just didn't know what to do. Well, maybe late 2018, they decided to look back into these Gilgo Beach murders. And what they found were some burner phones, a description of a Chevy Avalanche. And what they did was they did a search of this particular avalanche. Well, in all of the searches, there were a number of people that came up. So did Rex Harmon. But he's a prominent guy. You know, he's an architect. He's sought after throughout the world. There's no way that he could be responsible. So what they end up doing is finding the burner phone. Now, he thought he was very smart. There's no way they can find me. I used a burner phone. But let's check out what science did to do this. This is the burner phone. What they were able to determine was that here was a cell tower, and this was a very strong signal, and this was a cell tower. They were able to make a determination, believe this or not, that these signals were around where he worked in Manhattan, as well as where he lived in his home. So, how were they? They're getting stronger. They're getting more evidence now. So, anyway, this is what they decide to do. This is what they decide to do. They go after it. And then all of a sudden, when they find the avalanche, they find these signals. The signals are saying that wherever they're sent to to talk to the women and harass the family, they're around Manhattan and Long Beach. The car, the Chevy Avalanche, is registered in Long Beach. Lo and behold, they believe that it's Rex. And how do they catch him? The FBI starts to follow him. And what does he do? He's munching on a pizza. Yum, yum, yum. And he takes the pizza and he discards the rest of it in the trash can. What did I tell you before? Anytime that you throw away something, you don't have an expectation of privacy. So when he threw it away, they took it out the trash, they tested it, and the DNA matched perfectly. Wow. Here this man was living two different lives. Here's Rex right here, Big Rex. And these are the young ladies that unfortunately perished because of him. He was a serial killer. And so he was set to go to trial. Normally, when you have serial killers, I find they want to go to trial. They want to listen. They want to reenact. They want to see where they messed up. They want to know how they got caught, what you went through to do it. And what that does is it strikes a remembrance. And it's almost like they're excited about it because they're able to relive the things that they had done. And so they want to go to trial. I want to go to trial. I want to listen. So what was interesting is that Rex decided to take a plea, but on the condition that he share his information, how he went about doing these crimes with the FBI. Well, why is that important? And let me tell you. Many years ago, I had a case, and the gentleman, or the man, not gentleman, was killing women of the night. And it was an MO. One thing about these serial killers, they always have an MO. What is that? Modus operandi. It's a way that they do it. It's their signature. Well, this particular person would beat them, and after they beat him, he would then have sex with them. That's just what he did. So they were finding all of these bodies. And why the FBI wanted to talk to him is because what they wanted to do is a profile. They wanted to write down everything. They were looking at him when they would ask different questions. What was his demeanor? Was he happy? Was he sad? Why did he kill this place? Why not this place? Why was it the dragging important? Why? Because they're getting this information and they put it in a database. And what that database does is that when they start to see these types of crimes being committed, the database tells them what they're looking for and the probability of what this person may or may not be. And then what that does is it helps them to zero in. But had Rex not thrown away that pizza, they wouldn't have never had his DNA. But let me tell you about most serial killers. Technology always gets the man and the woman. I hope you enjoyed Crime Stories with Vonda Evans.
In a car accident, call Vonda's Law and get the money you deserve. A name you can trust.